Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is Red Dissection and we're here to analyze and deconstruct Manchester United, a well-deserved victory against Chelsea at Old Trafford in the Premier League. After a slew of stories about dressing room leaks, about terrible run of form, especially performances, Ten Hag made some tough calls, some bold calls which were much needed. The likes of Rashford were dropped and AMBRABAT was given a start. Anthony was brought in for Rashford, and all of these changes actually brought a new kind of mentality to Manchester United. We were pressing, we were intense, we were aggressive, we won all our duels. We had certain control in the midfield, especially in the second half, with the likes of Amrabat and even Bruno playing a more restrained role. So Ten Hag, as much as he has deserved all the flack that he has received for the recent performances, he must be given all the credit for this kind of forthright and a gutsy performance for Manchester United. Coming to summary of the match, United took an early lead. They could have gone ahead even earlier when Bruno missed the penalty. It was a decent shot. Sanchez was in inspired form all throughout the night. But Bruno missed his penalty, his fourth miss out of 31. But that is not a big concern. He is usually adept at putting them away. But United did respond quickly enough with McTominay scoring a well-taken goal in the box. We were constantly pushing. Wingers and fullbacks were a constant threat, and United were totally dominant. But we did concede a few chances, especially in the first half on the counter-attack. They could have gotten a lead, especially with Jackson, who missed the tap-in. At the break, United and Chelsea were level. After the break, United took even more control into the game. There was more structure, more method to the madness. Amrabat came into his own. He was exceptional, especially in the second half. We didn't concede too many chances apart from few crosses late in the second half. And we took the lead with a wonderful cross from Garnacho, who was also excellent in the second half. And McTominay delivered. I think this is what he's best at, arriving late into those goal scoring areas and capitalizing on some good balls into the box. Obviously, our strikers haven't scored much, so McTominay is our top goal scorer. Obviously, we haven't scored too many goals, so we'll take them in any way, shape, or form. And it's good that we have people from midfield chipping in with goals. Obviously, there is a concern the strikers aren't scoring. Haaland didn't score in this match as well. He hasn't broken his duck yet. So we wait to see when he's able to get the first goal, hopefully against Bournemouth. Looking at statistics, Chelsea just shaded the possession start. But in terms of big chances, we were both even. Obviously, Chelsea didn't capitalize on their chances, but we had like 20 attempts at goal and 20 of those shots were in the box, so those were quite decent opportunities. McTominay could have had like 4 or 5 goals in this match himself. Garnacho should have scored, and there were other opportunities. Obviously, if you take into account the penalty miss, we should have won this match by at least 3 or 4 goals, and it could have resulted in a 6-3 or a 7-4 scoreline that wouldn't have come as a surprise. This is the kind of football I think Ten Hag wants to play: high risk, high reward. And I think that we are lacking some strong centre backs just to implement this kind of action out on the pitch more coherently, because our centre backs aren't that quick or great on the ball. But obviously, in this match, they did well, especially in the second half when Lindelof was taken off and Shaw was brought in into the left centre back position. And it's a good start. But United need to build on this. There's an important match coming on the weekend against Bournemouth, which is at home as well, and a huge and monumental week ahead. So it's a good start for that stretch of games for sure. Coming to play ratings, Andre Onana, I think he should have saved that one. That was his only mistake. Obviously, that was a good angle shot, but it didn't have much pace. So I think Onana should have gotten hold of that. Apart from that, his distribution was fine. He didn't have to make too much save. I think Chelsea hit the crossbar and the post a couple of times, but he couldn't do anything about those. He did make a good save against Nicholas Jackson when he was straight through to the goal, and that was a important save because that was early in the match as well. So overall, it was a decent performance for Onana. Thiago Dalot had one of his best games, especially considering the opposition. He was forthright. He was aggressive. Defensively, he didn't have much trouble against Mudryk. Uh, he was a constant threat, especially on attack. His partnership with Anthony really flourished before his injury. I think around the World Cup time last year. So I think this is a partnership going forward. It can reignite our own attacking patterns. And it was good to see Dalo bringing that kind of assurance on the ball in the final third as well. So it's a good performance, and certainly he needs to build on this going forward. Harry Maguire delivered again. He's been consistent all through the couple of months, like 6 weeks, and he has just won the Player of the Month award as well. Well deserved. Obviously, we know his shortcomings, his lack of pace. In the first half, he was dropping deep, just like against Newcastle, and Chelsea did trouble us, especially on counter attacks. But in the second half, he's playing around the halfway line and was making some last ditch interception, which were really good. And he was involved in the second goal as well. So I think Harry Maguire has made his case certainly as a starter. If he continues in this rich vein of form, not committing those kind of blunders that he was doing for last couple of seasons, I think it's looking good for Maguire. And on the night, it was a great performance for him as well. Victor Lindelof started off shakily. He was at fault for their goal, and he certainly didn't inspire much confidence in me. His lack of pace, his lack of strength, his lack of ability to cover his defenders is a big concern, and was rightfully and deservedly hooked off at halftime. And since Johnny Evans has come back fit, I think we'll see even less of Lindelof going forward. It wasn't a good performance on the night from Lindelof. Luke Shaw started off like house on fire. He was bombing on, he was driving with the ball, dribbling into the midfield. Obviously, he is prone to some clangers and some lapses of concentration. So on the counter attack, they did find some space on his side. In the second half, he was brought into the left centre back position. Overall, he did decently. Concentration is a concern with Shaw, especially with the fact that he is really clumsy at times, especially in the box. I remember in the last 10 minutes, he was heading off ball into the path of Chelsea players. So that is something he needs to weed out. And if he can do that, then overall, he is an accomplished player, accomplished Premier League player. So we need to see more of this from Luke Shaw. And going forward, I think he should continue in this left centre back position, especially with Reguilon back fit. So let's hope that he can stay fit and drive on forward with his form. Coming to midfield, AMBRABAT was exceptional. He was the defensive midfielder that we have needed for last 3-4 years at least after Carrick. He did make a mistake early on. He gave a square ball to the striker, I think Jackson, and that led to Mudrik's chance. But he did well to recover on that, and he did impede Mudrik slightly, so he was slightly off balance when he took that shot. Apart from that, he was sweeping, he was cleaning messes and putting out fire all over the pitch. He made some good interception, as well as always looking forward. He made some beautiful passes into the forward areas. Something I really enjoyed was his ability to drive 2 or 3 yards with the ball and just make an easy pass, especially when we were trying to overload the flanks. So it was a tremendous performance. I think he should be given a good stretch of matches just to prove his fitness and to prove his quality. And I think given the set of matches coming up, I definitely see him staying in the team going forward. McTominay, I mean, he's our best goal threat. He's really dangerous in the box. He has a clean shot on him. He's good in the air. He's physical, especially in those forward areas. Defensively, obviously, when he comes to keeping his position, being positionally aware, or tracking his runner, he's not good at that. He was also a little uncomfortable with the possession of the ball in deep areas, and he did lose possession a couple of times. Overall, if he can contribute like he did with goals, especially important goals winners, then certainly he'll keep his place in the team. And I think this should give him more confidence, even to iron out those problems that he has in his game and work on those. And let's see going forward if he can keep this form, especially goal scoring form, then he's definitely a sure shot in this team. Anthony had one of his best games in a United shirt. He was a constant threat. He was a constant threat for Levi Colwill, who has done well recently. He was really astute with his ball control, really good with possession. Obviously, in the final third, he can always use his right foot more. He can be more clinical, which he needs to work on. But his commitment to the cause, his drive, his pressing was really exceptional. A really good game for Anthony. Bruno Fernandes missed an early penalty. Anybody can miss a penalty. It was a decent shot. It was on target. And with his kind of technique, he's always likely to miss if the keeper delays his leap. That's what Sanchez did. Overall, his first half wasn't great. I know that his technique isn't is in the most consistent. He uses possession often mindlessly. But in the second half, he played more restrained. He was more calculative in his approach. He was more clinical in his final passes. Thing I liked about him the most in this match was his lack of petulance. He was more composed, and he was always encouraging his other players like Garnacho, who was having a good game but also missing chances. So it was a good performance from the captain. Garnacho was the joint man of the match, or one of the men of the match with AMBRABAT and Anthony. He was a biggest threat, especially in the second half. He had Cucurella on toes and also had James sweeping the floor for him. He dropped him a couple of times, so he was really good. The best thing was that his final ball were also good in this match, particularly his assist for the second goal and the winner. So another good performance. I think he needs to be more consistent in terms of delivering the final ball like he did tonight. And even in the first goal, it was his goal on from the left flank that came in for Harry Maguire, and his shot was rebounded for McTominay to to get the goal. So it was a promising performance, and I think he should continue on the left flank. Rashford hasn't deserved to get back that position from him, and a good performance. And inshallah, long may it continue. Hoyland wasn't too involved in the match. Overall, his game was decent, but obviously he lacks the polish. His first touch isn't clinical every time, and obviously his finishing and his arrival into the box is still needs work. And but he's a young player, and I think he's just waiting for the first goal and the first goal in the Premier League. I think once he gets that, then he'll get few more, and he'll get more confidence just in front of goal, and that'll impact his game tremendously. I think, inshallah, on the weekend against Bournemouth, he gets his first goal or even a few goals for that matter. And I think that should keep him in good stead for the upcoming matches against Bayern Munich and Liverpool as well. Coming to substitution, I think Sergio Reguilon had a good game. Obviously, he came on for Lindelof, and Shaw was moved to the left centre back position. Reguilon, we know that he likes to bomb forward. He's good, especially in the attacking areas. Defensively, he's always susceptible, and he's not a great one-on-one defender. But overall, he did good. Sadly, with Shaw moving inside and him bombing on the flank, it gave us more balance on the left-hand side with two left-footed players. So that was a good substitution for Ten Hag. Marcus Rashford came on for Hoyland. He didn't do much. He pretended to run and pretended to go for the aerial duels. He was more in a sulking mode, moping around. I didn't see any kind of gumption from him, any kind of response that we could expect from a self-respecting professional. I didn't see that, so I don't want to talk too much about it. It wasn't a good performance from him when he came on for Holland. Johnny Evans is back fit again, and he came on late. Obviously, he's an experienced player. He did okay. He didn't have much to do anyway. He played for last couple of minutes. So going forward, I think he might start on the weekend if he's fully fit. Then he might start, and Shaw might be rested. But I'd like to see Shaw continue in the left centre back position, and until he gets injured or needs to be rested, I think Shaw should keep his place and Johnny Evans should stay on the bench. I think we have to give props to Ten Hag for admitting his mistakes and obviously taking bold decisions to drop someone like Rashford and his favorites. Obviously, Bruno stays in the team and he's a captain, so I don't envisage him dropping Bruno. But it's a good start. I mean, he did say that he wants to play that kind of high risk, high reward, rock and roll football, and that's what we saw. And we were consistent in our pressing. We pressed as a team, not just in individuals. And it was clear to see that if we can execute that kind of plan on the pitch with all the moving parts moving in harmony, then there is something out there. There is a vision to be implemented. It remains to be seen how successful that is, especially against a team that are more clinical and that has more about them than Chelsea. Obviously, coming up, we have Bayern Munich and a trip to Anfield, so we'll definitely see and observe whether we can execute those kind of plans and this kind of play against such great teams who have huge goal threats of their own. Bournemouth won't be an easy game as well, and it remains to be seen whether we can show this kind of gumption and guts, 2 matches in a row. This was a good result. Inshallah, on the weekend we see a continuation of this, rolling on forward with the momentum we got from this match. We are sixth in the table right now. Obviously, Newcastle and Tottenham play their matches today, but we are only 3 points away from Man City, so that is a good measure of a position. Obviously, we can't forget everything with just one victory, but the manner of victory did say a lot. It did tell us that there is some fight left in the players. It's just important that they have enough confidence to be consistent in what they're trying to execute. And it's also important that we don't let in other egos that are bruised. They are probably moping, the likes of Rashford, to come straight back into the team. I think the people who have delivered should stay in the team and should be rewarded with more chances. And I think we should stick with this team, especially the likes of AMBRABAT, for a few matches, and not be quick and hasty in replacing them, even if they have a bad performance or a bad half. I think we need to stick with them and let them flourish and let them get confidence. And I think it will bear fruit, inshallah, if we can give them confidence. There is no sword hanging over them if they commit one wrong foul or put a foot wrong or misplace one pass, and that is very important, especially for someone like Amrabat and Anthony, who have come under a lot of scrutiny because of a xenophobic phobia of the foreign player. So it needs to be called out, and we need to show more confidence and more support to these players, especially who have been vilified, I think, undeservedly. I think given a chance, they can deliver, and we need to build on this, and we need to be consistent, and we need to show that we can repeat this kind of performance on the weekend against Bournemouth. Inshallah, we can deliver on the weekend against Bournemouth as well. It's a home match. Please join us for the Red Prep show. I think it'll drop on Friday. Inshallah, I'll try to finish it and deliver on Friday. So please join us for that. Until then, take care, do good. Please pray for the people of Palestine and all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.